And now for the special address titled CIO's Role in Shaping Digital Resiliency and the Digital First Economy. It's an honor and privilege for me to welcome and introduce Abhishek Singh, President and Chief Executive Officer, National E-Governance Division, Department of Electronics and Information Technology, Government of India. Abhishek, over to you.
Thank you, Ivan, and it's indeed an honor and privilege to be speaking on this forum, wherein we are looking at the strategies for CIOs in order to be able to navigate the new normal that we are seeing in. And when we look at the post-pandemic world, what we see common across sectors is that there has been a greater role that digital technologies are playing, and organizations which have done the digital transformation, organizations that have adopted digital technologies are doing much better. So that makes the role of CIOs, CTOs much more important, and how they can adapt, how they can use ways and means in order to ensure that they are able to meet the requirements and challenges of the new world that are emerging in. So based on the experience of the government, what we have found is that the amount of the pace of adoption of digital in the last 2 years has been phenomenal. If we look at the projects that we have implemented across domains and across sectors, some are like basic platforms that we have built, some are sector specific projects that we have built, but in every sector and in every platform that we have built, the adoption of every app or every portal that we have done has been very high. Just to DigiLocker project, for example, which is the document wallet system that we have implemented, the number of users on DigiLocker have gone up from almost 3 crores to 10 crores, from 30 million to 100 million plus now, which is a growth of more than 2.5 times in just 2 years. Similarly, when you look at the MyGov, the citizen engagement platform, the number of users have gone in from a little less than 1 crore in 2020, beginning of 2020, to almost 2.3 crores now. More than double it has happened. Similar things we have observed in the Umang platform, which is the mobile, which is the common app for giving all public services on a mobile platform. Which was built up at the peak of the pandemic at a very short time, saw heavy adoption. It's got more than 21 crore users today, which has helped us during the pandemic and still continuing to do that. If you look at the vaccination platform, which has helped to vaccinate more than 1.8 billion. More than 1.8 billion doses have been given, and almost Innovate has been a savior for Indians in the pandemic, and it's helped us to come back to normalcy. It has also developed in a very short time, and it led to a huge digital adoption. So if you look at all these platforms, I can go on and on about other platforms like Diksha, the National Academic Depository, the eSanjeevani, everywhere. The common thread across all these platforms is that the implementation strategy has moved from implementing monolithic technology solutions to scalable platforms on a platform-based architecture in which we integrate services and we bring everyone together and ensure that they are able to use that. What does DigiLocker do? It allows different government service departments to come on the platform, make use of the platform, ensure that their documents are made available and accessible remotely with the consent of the citizen, and also verifiable and shareable. So such platforms are easier to scale and are easier to build and are easier to be more usable for the citizens per se. Another common feature which makes them scalable, and in India, whenever we design a tech platform, we design it for 1 billion plus people. So whenever we do that, it has to be a cloud first strategy. So any CIO who is building a tech solution for a country like India, with the size and magnitude of India, we have to adopt a cloud first technology so that it becomes scalable. The architecture should be such that it should be able to meet the peak load also. For example, the vaccination platform, on the day that we had the maximum number of vaccinations in a single day, that was like 25 million plus on 17th of September, we were having more than 1,000 API hits on the systems on that day. Similarly, when we had Arogya Setu during the second wave, number of people who were accessing the platform was very high. So because it's been done on a cloud-based architecture, on a cloud-first principle, it's able to meet the requirement and the load. So adopting cloud is a must for any CIO who is building a product which can last. It should not happen that if the number of users are coming, it crashes or it doesn't hold good. The other approach that has worked, what we have seen, which has become the common thread across all the projects that we have implemented at scale, is a mobile first approach. Like any service that is offered today, we find that more than 90% citizens consume it on the mobile device. So every online service or any digital service that we are being offered to citizens or to consumers have to have a mobile interface. In fact, I may mention that on the MyGov, when we built the AI conversational chatbot on using WhatsApp, we found more than 10 million people adopting it within 5 days. And it was why it was so popular, and why would people adopt it? Because navigating an information on a conversational AI on a common interface like WhatsApp becomes much more easier for people, rather than going onto a website or going to an app and trying to enter credentials and doing that. And even when we introduced the vaccination booking and download of certificates on the chatbot, we found that more people were accessing the service on the chatbot than they were doing on the portal. So having the mobile first approach is a very, very important strategy that a CIO needs to adopt in the present times and present world. Then another feature that has worked very well and that's going to be the future for building interconnected systems is an API based approach. How do we ensure that information and data with regard to various services can be seamlessly shared by use of APIs? And the API approach has been used in almost every project that we have built in. Even on the COVID, like how do you verify the vaccination certificates of anyone who is coming to meet you? For example, if you have a Zomato delivery boy or if you have an Amazon delivery partner who is wanting to come to your house and you want to see whether he is actually vaccinated or not, today you are able to see that. Today you are able to check that. How does that happen? That happens because you are able to access his vaccination certificate by using the COVID APIs that are available. Similarly, the APIs for KYC have been made available on the portal that we have set for publishing APIs, the API setu.gov.in. More than 1,000 APIs are published there. And any partner, any government department or any even a private sector partner, if they want to consume those APIs, make a request and then those APIs are provided. We have seen its adoption in several use cases. Today, we find that most of the fintech firms, whether it's Zerodha or whether it's ICICI Securities or whether it's Upstocks, they all are using DigiLocker APIs and using it to verify their KYC credentials. You're doing Aadhaar verifications and all, and that ensures that the cost of acquiring a customer goes down. And when this happens, more value is created and they are able to offer services at a lower cost, which results in greater valuations for companies. Even in the government, API-based verifications of credentials has become common. Like once we have the academic credentials, like on the National Academic Depository, which is also part of DigiLocker, a university or a college which is giving admissions to students and wants to verify the marks need not ask for the PDFs or the printed certificates, mark sheets of the students. It can do an API-based verification of the marks obtained based on the academic certificates which are already available on the DigiLocker platform. And this was also practiced last year when Delhi University had to more than 100,000 students by doing the verification through APIs, and it did not require submission of any paper documents or even a digital document. Similarly, in recruitments, when Karnataka police was doing recruitments, they could also do these API-based verification, and that allowed a seamless access to the credentials, and they saved almost 6 months from the recruitment cycle. And now, as we are making more and more documents available on the DigiLocker platform, whether it's a caste certificates or income certificates or health documents, this API-based verification of documents and API-based authentication is going to become a normal thing for building systems as we go up. And this will really bring in more efficiency in the system. And we feel that this is going to become very common, not only in the government, within the government departments, but across the entire ecosystem. Then another feature that I would like to mention is that, which will be relevant for any CIO, whether he's from the government sector or whether it's from the private sector, is that at the core of whatever we do, we have to keep the citizen in the mind. So in the government sense, we say citizen is at the center for all our digital strategies. For a private sector entity or a CIO in a corporate sector, for him it will be a customer or a client. So when we design something by keeping the citizen in at the core of our strategy, then we make so we build up solutions and we come up with architecture and we come up with UI UX which becomes more usable. So whenever we have been doing this, this has been an important part in all strategies, and very often we get people, ordinary people, to test the systems, and we try to see if they are able to also intuitively figure out navigating the applications and the systems and the UI UX. And this also brings into another important point about digital inclusion. Like whenever we design any system, especially in India, we always realize that there are many people who will not be able to access these services on their own. They would not have a smartphone, they would not have maybe a laptop, they would not have connectivity, or they would not have the skill sets to access an app or a portal and get the services themselves. So right from the beginning in the digital transformation strategy that we have built in government, the digital inclusion has been a key focus area, whether it was the common service centers which were set up across the length and breadth of the country, wherein citizens could go and access services. They were provided. Today we have a network of more than 400,000 common service centers wherein citizens are able to access services. Now this concept has been extended for the Umang services, the Umang which has got more than 1,200 government services. The Umang services are also available in an assisted access mode with our partners, and we have allowed even entities other than common service centers to access service Umang and offer it to the citizens. And there are entities which are offering such services in a home delivery model. Like any online service can be offered even by going to citizens' homes. And in the era of inclusion, another very important aspect that has been built in is building in services in various languages. And because we know that there's many people in India who would access services in their own native language. How do we ensure that we are able to access the diversity that exists in the country? And how do we ensure that services are made available in all 22 Indian languages? The National Language Translation Mission is building an engine for this that will ensure availability of services in multiple Indian languages. Then the other key area in which we are working on is how to enable voice-based internet, because we also feel that almost 700 million people in India are on the internet, but there would be around 500 million people who would not be able to access services in a traditional sense. And if we can talk to Alexa and a Siri, can a citizen not talk to an app and access services with his voice commands? So that's something that we are building, and very soon we'll be able to build up a solution wherein you will be able to track your passport numbers or your ration card or your driving license, or find where blood of a particular group is available in the blood bank by a voice-based interface. And the last 2 points which I would mention is with regard to the effort that would be required for skilling and upskilling of team members. How do we ensure that we are able to nurture talent? How do we are able to ensure that they are able to acquire skills that will help them be able to perform the jobs that we required? And the last point which I would mention and then conclude is that every CIO needs to be aware of the cybersecurity issues and ensure security as a part of design of their applications, and then only will be able to survive in the present day world. Otherwise, any cyber attack which leads to loss of data or loss of information can be a big reputational risk. So to be in a resilient digital economy, these are the few points that I wanted to share on this forum today.
Thank you, Mr. Abhishek Singh, for outlining all those initiatives that you, as President and Chief Executive Officer of the National E-Governance Division, Department of Electronics and Information Technology, Government of India, have undertaken and plan to undertake. Honestly, in the 15 minutes, the stuff that you covered, it was absolutely mind-boggling and an eye-opener for me at least, and I'm sure for the members of this audience. We wish you and your department the very best going forward. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, just a reminder, visit our partner booths by simply clicking on the Experience Zone button at the bottom of your screen. Chat, speak, or video call any of them, and do come back to the live sessions again by clicking on the plenary session button at the bottom of your screen. Do stay tuned in. We will be back on the other side with the fireside chat.